Hey there guys, welcome back to another video from the Frontline Fitness Department. Nice quick whistle stop tour of some push-up variations for you today. Are you bored of doing time after time endless standard push-ups? Is it getting a little bit stale? Do you want something a little bit more exciting to bridge the gap between episodes on Netflix? So we're going to go through a couple of variations of push-ups today. It's certainly not every variation there is in the world. There are absolutely mountains of them, but I'm going to go through a couple which you might want to do to spice it up. So if you see one of our videos or you see another video that's got push-ups and you think a bit boring, I want to do something a bit different, then you can vary it, you can mix up, put your own spin on whatever you want. So I'm going to start off, hopefully most people know how to do push-up. If you don't, we're just going to go through some basics, but what I want you to always remember is you can scale these as much as you like. If you can't quite do them on the floor yet, then you put your hands up on a raised platform like a raised wall. In order to do that, makes it a lot easier, or you could put your feet up on something to make it harder. If you haven't got a raised wall, you could use the arm of your sofa. If you can go a bit lower, then you can use the flat bit of your sofa that you sit on. If you can go even lower than that, it could be a couple of books, it could be a low bench. Whatever you've got knocking around the house that's stable, safe and secure, you can use that to scale it to make the whole movement easier, or to raise your feet and make it slightly harder. So I'll start off just with the standard push-up. I'll show you from the side to start with. Top of that push-up position, which everyone should know, feet ideally together. If you need them a little bit further apart for stability, that's fine. I want you to try and squeeze your butt cheeks, okay? Try and imagine trying to hold a pound coin between them. You don't use your gym money. Your buttocks were specifically engineered for your pelvis. That's going to help you sit in a better line as opposed to doing this or to doing this. So squeeze your butt, it's going to hold you in a better line. Try and bring your shoulders over your hands, around about shoulder width apart. Come down, keeping your elbows by your sides. Chest touches the floor. And push back up. It's not this, where you see a lot of people with their elbows flaring out here. What I want you to try and do is brush the sides. So they come down, you can feel your arms brushing on the side of your lats, just across there, okay? Most people know that push up. If you didn't know that push up, now you do. That's why most people are here, because they're a little bit bored of it. What can we do to spice it up? So some people call them diamond push-ups, because they make this shape with your hands, but maybe your mobility isn't that great, you can't quite get there. So it's close grip push-ups. So if you can put your hands there, great. If you can't, it doesn't matter. Try and bring your hands a little bit closer together. Same as before, feet together or slightly wider. If you need to, squeeze your butt, come down, back up. Even more important, not to let those elbows flare out at this point, to keep them in as you come up, okay? Once you've got close push-ups, you can look at doing wide push-ups. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Instead of your hands being here, we're going to take your hands a little bit wider and make it a little bit harder. Obviously, you're not going to be able to brush your elbows by your lats at this point, or your hands aren't wide enough. Okay. Once you've got wide on your belt, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can look at doing archer push-ups. Now, these are meanies, and you can scale these. When I do it in a moment, you'll see that one arm should be as straight as you can get it. If you're not quite there yet, you can have your arm 45 degrees, 50, 55, and 2. You can get to that straight point there, where you're all the way out. So the hands are going to want to be quite wide to start with. You're going to come across like that and then push back up, then alternate. And the good thing to note is if you try and push the ditch of your elbow, so this part here, try and push it forward, it will help your arm stay a lot straighter in the movement. So there, if you can't quite get to that and you need to come a bit closer and do this, so your arm's not quite straight yet, then do that. It's about scaling that movement as much as you can. If you find they're getting a little bit too easy, or you want a bit more of a challenge, you maniac, you could do typewriter push-ups. Very similar. I'm going to come down to start that movement, then we're going to come across the bottom of that push-up until that arm's straight, then we're going to push up. They are not what I would describe as a basic push-up. They're a little bit tasty. Okay, so if you've got those and you want another challenge, let's go for SPHINX push-ups. So we're going to start off with your elbows like you would be in a low plank. So your hands aren't here, they're facing forward, so you look like a sphinx. Then you're going to put your weight through your hands and push up. And it's gentle all the way down, it's not thudding down. We're controlling that movement as we come up and down. If you've got that, you want to create something a little bit more explosive, a little bit more dynamic, well, what's called Russian push-ups. So you come up into that push-up position, you can come down to here, so your elbows are on the floor, and come up, back down. And note my feet are coming over pretty much onto the tops there of my toes in order to allow me to do that movement. So it's back to the elbows, up onto the hands, push up. If you've got those, what else can you do? Something even more explosive. Explosive / clap push-ups. essentially we're working towards a clap push-up where you explode off the ground, you clap in the middle before you return to the ground without face planting and making yourself look like this. No one needs that in their life. If you can't quite get the clap, just try and explode off the floor to your hands coming up to this point. Maybe your fingertips are touching, maybe you can get a little bit of air but you can't quite push yet enough to get a clap. Just work towards that explosive. So it looks like, always remembering, try and squeeze but hold your gym money in place. Last one we're going to do today, after all those push-ups, hopefully I can still do it, otherwise it's going to look awfully silly, is a one-arm push-up. So it might help when you're starting off with this to have your feet quite wide. It's going to create a much more stable base. Make sure you are very, very much warmed up for this. So one arm here, and a good tip, the second hand, either have it on your leg here, so if you suddenly need it, you can put your hand down, or it can also help a little bit of balance if you need it. But squeeze this hand as hard as you can. The contractile force is going to help you be able to put more force through this hand. Okay, so hand by this side, come down and squeeze as much as you can. And if you need to, switch hands as you go. Switch hands as you go. And remember, squeeze that hand. So try doing a push-up without squeezing it. Take a moment's rest. Do it again while squeezing this hand as hard as you possibly can. Then push up, and you should notice a distinct difference in the amount of force that you can exert. And that is pretty much it. A couple of push-up variations just to spice up your workouts, keep you interested and keep you moving. Any questions, any queries, give us a shout at the Frontline Fitness mailbox. Give us a shout on any of the platforms here. We got YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search for Frontline Fitness Hampshire. Have a brilliant day and stay safe.